Hello and welcome to Little Boo's Fab. In today's video on the TDI Ford Ranger, we'll be getting the fuel from the tank in the back up here to the engine. Let's get to it. Okay, so for the fuel system, I'll be using an AirDog pump. I got the original AirDog, and this one is preset to 15 to 17 psi. And for the TDI, I was doing some research, and you only need like 8 to 10 max. And I didn't know if there was like some screw, or I figured there was some way to change it when I originally bought it. And after doing some research, I found out that all it is a little spring that goes behind here that controls the pressure. So I bought that spring, and I'll go ahead and change that out so that I get the right pressure. But this pump will be, plenty for what I need, and I mean, it's way more than the TDI will ever be able to handle. But I just wanted to have top quality parts on this build, and I wanted to build it right, so we're going with this. Okay, we're up here at the truck. I have to run the fuel up here to the pump, and then the return is down here. So I'll be going away with like all this, and I'll just run it straight down. But my plan is to use the original return from the Ranger, and then the feed for the Ranger, it was a little small, so I went ahead and I got stainless tube, and I'm gonna route it from up here to the back. And then something else that I'll have to figure out or do, especially with this one, is I want to adapt it to an AN line, so it's an AN line right here, just for the ease of getting it on and off. Then AN line, and I might have to do some type of adapter or something right here in the middle and run it up to here. It's just a slip-on fitting, so I'll probably just have to have a straight tube or something. I'm not going to be able to do an AN fitting right there. But that's the plan for up here. I'll take you to the back and show you where I plan on putting the pump and kind of how I plan on routing it back there. Okay, so my plan back here is to mount this pump a little high and out a little bit so that I could clear that leaf spring mount. And then in here I have the cab mount, so I'll have to fish the line around it somehow. I'm not too worried about it, but in the future I plan on taking this fuel tank out and doing an aluminum one, probably somewhere right here in the middle. But for now, I'm just gonna run this. I'll go ahead and I'll get some type of plastic or something, and I'll cut it out so that I could put the straw down in it. And then I'll probably try to reuse this level or something. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really opened this up yet, but we'll get to that in this video. But that's kind of the plan that I have so far. But for now, I'm going to start on mounting the fuel pump right here. So we'll go ahead and get to that. Okay, so I whipped up this bracket right here. I just put like 2 by 80-degree bends in it, and then drilled some holes so that it'll mount to it. And then later on, I'll tap these so that it'll bolt right onto this. But now I'm going to change out that spring that's behind this, and then I'm gonna put the AN fittings on and get them kind of 90'd out, just so that I get an idea of where it's gonna need to go when I go ahead and tack it on into the truck. So let's get this spring swapped out and get the AN lines on. Then I'll see you back over at the truck. Okay, I got that bracket in here tacked in, and then I went ahead and mounted the fuel pump as well. And then I was just kind of seeing how I could route these tubes, but the AN fittings that I had got for this, they were the wrong size, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use these, and I'll figure out a way to convert this to the AN8 so I could tap into the hard line and then go forward with it up to the engine. But that's about where we're at right now. And then I also need to get one more 90. They only gave me 2 90s and then like 3 straights. So, and I mean, a straight isn't really gonna work right here. I could make it work right here, but there'd be like a real big bow coming out, and I just want it to be a 90 right here and make it a lot easier, because this one has to come to the pickup, and then this one right here is going out to the engine, and this one is the return. So I'll run this one back here to this. But next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take the fuel tank out so that I get to the inside of this fuel rail, and I gotta it's gonna make it a lot easier to run all these fuel lines and everything. I'll have a lot better access. So I'll meet you back when I get the fuel tank out. All right, I got the fuel tank out, and now we have a whole bunch of room down here to do whatever we want and to get to all these fuel lines. So I'll end up taking this fuel line out along with the fuel filter over there, and then I'll just end up taking this soft tube off this hard line, and I will also take all of this stuff out. This is all from the evap system on the original Ranger for the 3.0, and I don't need any of that, so we'll go ahead and take it off. Be rate reduction. So I'll go ahead and pull all that stuff out, then I'll be back. Okay, I just finished pulling out this line, and then it also had the regulator for the E85 since it was a flex fuel. But get under here. It had all these little clips. I'll put those all in the bag. But this is the line that I'll probably use for the return. And then I'll run a new one from back over there, and then go all the way up to the front. And these clips are spaced out, so I'll try to reuse these. I got some other holders maybe for the new ones, and I might just use these for the old ones. And then it's also holding up the brake line, so I mean that's pretty important. So I'll probably just go like that, and then just run that new fuel line in. So let's go ahead and that's what I'll work on next. Okay, we're gonna hop onto the fuel tank real quick and get this wrapped up. So I went ahead and took the ring off, and then got the fuel pump and all this stuff out. Originally, I was thinking of trying to reuse this and kind of taking some of this stuff off, but I mean, there's so much stuff on this that I'm just gonna go ahead and build a new cap out of aluminum. And for the fuel level, I was probably gonna get something off of Amazon so that I could get the fuel level to work, or I'll end up welding something so that I could get this one to work too. But and I'll kind of think about it more and see what I want to do. But I'll go ahead and drill out the aluminum piece for this, and then start drilling holes so that I could put this in. This is for the pickup for the pump, and we'll go ahead and cut this down as well, and then we'll go ahead and probably drill in some 2 returns. So let's get to it. Okay, so next we're gonna work on running the hard line from the back to the front of the truck. To do this, I'm gonna use these as kind of templates. And I got all this extra stuff in it, but I'll just end up just going straight through with a lot of it. So let's go ahead and get this bent out straight, or get it straightened. And then we'll move on to going ahead and bending it and trying to route it through to get it to the front. Let's do it. Okay, so we got the fuel line in here. I got it bent up and everything. Down there, kind of where that screw is at, I'm kind of worried about it rubbing, so I'll end up either kind of bending it around that or put something around the fuel line. But that's the front. I just got to do the adapter to the AN8 line, and then I'll run a flexible line up to in here, and I'll probably connect it to this, so just so that I keep this fuel sensor in here. And then coming around to the back, that's how I went ahead and did that. It was like up on the frame rail, so I kind of just bent it out a little bit to get it off. I'm gonna end up cutting this back a little bit, and the kind of same thing as the front. I'll put an AN8 adapter on it, just to a soft line, and then that'll come to the fuel pump that'll be mounted right here. So we got the hard line in. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do those AN fittings. So let's get to that. Okay, this is kind of what I came up with. I'm gonna go ahead and cut both sides down like an inch and a half, and then I'll flare them out and put the AN8 fitting on. So I'll put you on the tripod and get that done. Okay, so I threw the fuel tank back in, and then I got the plate on here. I haven't drilled the return lines quite yet because I don't know exactly where I'm gonna need them at. I want to get some of these hard lines finished, and then the soft lines. So what I did to make the hard lines is I built or I bent 180, a 90, and a 45, and then I'll kind of use these to kind of put up and try to find an angle that I want for the best direction on where to take it. So now we're going to work on the hard lines, and we'll see kind of how they come out. I'm kind of thinking this one's gonna kind of like 180, come around this way and come up and probably end about right here. Then this one, it might 180 and then kind of come up right here. But we'll go ahead and see how it all turns out. All right, I just wanted to hop in real quick. So for these adapters going into the fuel pump, they're the AN8. Originally, I had got the wrong ones, so that's where I kind of hem-hawed between doing the like soft lines with the like clip-on adapters. but I ended up finding the right ones, so that's where we're going with the AN8 again. So just wanted to let you guys know about that. Let's get bending. Okay, I got all the hard lines bent and where I want them. This will be the feed to the pump. That one will connect right here to the pickup. This one is going to be going to the engine. I'm going to ride it through there. Then I just got to connect that one down right there. And then this last one is a return. And that one's just going to come over here. And then I still got to put where I want the returns for this tank, and then also the engine up front. So I'll probably end up putting those side by side right here. So let's go ahead and figure out where I want those, and then I'll start making soft lines to connect all the stuff together where it needs to go. Okay, a little update for the feed line up to the engine. I just decided to make a hard line that's going to go right there, and then it connects down there. I just got to get some more of these, and then flare these to put that in, and then I had put a straight and a 45 on, kind of like you guys had saw. And that's what I'm gonna do for here. I just gotta get some braided line. I had bought this thinking that I could make it work, but I mean, it's just too fat for the AN fittings. And I kind of got this originally because I was planning on doing an AN line on one end and then just doing like a barred fitting on the other. But since I'm just gonna go with straight AN lines, we'll go ahead and just use some braided AN line fitting, or AN line. So then for this 90 is too high, so I just ordered some 90 bulkhead fittings. So that will put that a lot shorter, and that should line up a lot better with that. And then I gotta drop the fuel tank to get to the other return line from the engine. So I'll just wait until I get this stuff done, and then I'll drop the engine and get that flared, get probably one of these on it, and get that ran up here. So that's kind of the plan. And the reason that I decided to go with the hard line right here is because I know that this won't move, but as far as like keeping this kind of soft, eventually I want to do a different fuel tank. I want to build one, so I don't want to do hard lines and then have to end up remaking them and stuff like that. So soft lines are kind of the easiest thing to be able to adjust it later. Okay, so I got some work done. Like I said, I was gonna do that feed line as a hard line. I got it on right here, down there. I gotta push that side over towards the frame rail a little bit, and then I'll get that on. Then I went ahead and I ordered some AN line, and I got my AN lines made up, and that one right there too. Then I also ordered these 90-degree bulkheads. They sit pretty close to this lip right here, but hopefully once that's like all the way down and everything, it won't really be a problem. But now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop the fuel tank back out so that I can get into the return line coming from the engine. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put one of these on it, so I could have all AN lines. And in the future, if I need to make new AN lines, then it makes it a little bit easier on me for when I want to build my aluminum tank. But let's go ahead and drop this, and then I'll throw one of these AN lines on that and get this one bolted in or screwed on. So let's get to it. Okay, so I went ahead and put the fuel tank back in here. Like I said, I was gonna go ahead and put an AN line down there. And then I went ahead and made the soft line while I was in there too. Coming back to the return. And that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for all the fuel lines and everything back here. The last thing that we gotta do for fuel is take it from these lines to the engine. We'll go ahead and do some soft lines up there once we get the engine finalized and the engine bay and everything. Well, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the fuel system. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I got a whole video series going on about this whole truck, and there'll be a lot more to come. So check out that video series and some of my other videos. But that's gonna be it for today. Have a good one.